Every lodge we have are Freemasons, and also we have these fraternity organizations. Then we have the Order of Skull and Bones, which is a fruit of the Kabbalah. They take an oath of death, and they make life of refuge, and they have a covenant with death, and thinking that they will be able to stand. Then in Isaiah chapter 29, we read this in verse number 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works in the dark. And they say, who sees us? And who knows us? That was the prophet Isaiah, who lived about 700 years before Christ. And so he addressed the Kabbalah, but if you don't know what the Kabbalah teaches, you don't understand what he's talking about, because you can't fathom that good is evil and evil is good. It is totally reversed. And a normal person cannot really accept this, because we are not evil like that. Now, the prophet Jeremiah, which operated around 500 before Christ, he also encountered a Kabbalist, and he didn't like them. And he said in Jeremiah 7, verses 3 through 11, he said this: This is the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Amend your ways and your doings, and I will cause you to dwell in his place. Trust you not in lying words, saying, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord are these. For if you thoroughly amend your ways and your doings, if you thoroughly execute judgment between the man and his neighbor, if you oppress not the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and shed not innocent blood in this place, neither walk with other gods to your hurt, then will I cause you to dwell in this place, in a land that I gave you to fathers forever and ever. Behold, you trust in lying words that cannot profit. Will you steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely, and burn incense unto Baal, and walk after other gods, whom you knew not? So Jews are well known for, you can't really trust them per se in business, because they have a tendency of not being truthful. Now, in the Talmud, which is a totally different set of writings, they have there a number of different things, and they simply said in the Talmud that if you do business with a Jew to Jew, you got to be honest. But if you do business with a Gentile, you are allowed, according to the laws, to lie, cheat, and steal from him. So this is where all this stuff is coming from. Let me now take you to Jeremiah chapter 11. And this is verses 9 and 10. And the Lord said unto me, a conspiracy is found among the men of Judah, and among the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They had turned back the iniquities of the forefathers, which refused to hear my words. They went after the gods to serve them. The house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant, which I made with their fathers. John the Baptist, he encountered the Kabbalists, and in Matthew chapter 3, he called them out. And for years, I didn't understand that, so I simply couldn't understand what he was talking about, snakes. But you remember now, the serpent, the holy serpent, I call him, is the Messiah among the Kabbalists. They worship the serpent. In Matthew 3:7, John the Baptist said this: But when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees come to his baptism, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who has warned you to flee from the wrath to come? call them snakes. And the reason he called them snakes is they were Kabbalists. If we then turn to Matthew chapter 12, we find Jesus himself confronting these people. And this is in Matthew 12:34, where Jesus said, "O generation of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks." It was the risen Jesus that gave us information in the book of Revelation that most people really don't like to talk about. And I'm going to read to you from Revelation chapter 2. And we're going to look at verses, starting 2, verse number 9. "I know your works and tribulation and poverty, but you are rich, and I know the blasphemy of them who say they are Jews, and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan." I never understood that passage until after I had read about the Kabbalah, and I learned that. I could have figured out why he called them a synagogue of Satan. In chapter 3, to the next church, in Sardis, he said this, "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you." Again, the synagogue of Satan. As I wrap this introduction down here, I'm going to take you now to Revelation chapter 13, which is a well-known chapter. And this is about the Antichrist. And we read in chapter 13 from verse number 16, "And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, say he that had a mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. The people that lived and accepted Christ, Jews, and particularly Jews, but not necessarily Gentiles, when they read Revelation 13 and 18, they said, "Oh, we know who that is. That is King Solomon." And so let me now show you from the Bible that King Solomon's number is 666. And we're going to turn to 1 Kings chapter 10. Now the weight of the gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold. Now he was worshipped, and he wanted gold. He wanted 666 talents, not more, not less. This was his number. In the same chapter, we find now that he had a throne, very special throne. And I'm reading up from verse number 18. "Moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory, overlaid with the best gold. The throne had 6 steps. The top of the throne was round high. There were stays on either side of the place of the seat, and 2 lions stood beside the stays. And 12 lions stood there on one side of the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom." This throne, now, if I can paint the picture for you, had 6 steps leading up to the throne. On one side were 6 steps. A lion was standing on each step. On the other side was another 6 steps with a lion. And anyone standing in front of the throne, they could see 666.